wisdom, and justice, through whom authority is rightly administered, laws enacted, and judgment decreed. Assist us, we beseech thee, that this city council may be conducted in righteousness and be eminently useful to thy people over whom we reside. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You go first. I'm not.
Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Here.
Morgan,
Present.
Roots,
Present.
Mayor Kirkland.
Present. Move for the approval of the minutes. So move.
Second.
Need second.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes. At this time, we open up the microphone for public comments on action items only. If you have public comments on our action items, you go to the microphone. We're asking that you would sign in if you're going to speak, that you would sign in your name and your address, and we'll go from there. Hearing or seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Resolution. Whereas the following individuals have requested a handicap parking zone. Number 1, Rembert Gibbs, 1006 Central Avenue, Chester, PA 19013. Number 2, Sheridan Jones, 1013 Elsnore Place, Chester, PA 19013. And number 3, Mark Mosley, 3019 West 6th Street, Chester, PA 19013. Whereas after a thorough investigation by the Department of Public Works, it has been determined the aforementioned individuals have met all of the required criteria and have a need for said handicap parking zone. Now therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the proper city officials to install a handicap parking zone in the 1000 block of Central Avenue, in the 1000 block of Elsnore Place, and in the 3000 block of West 6th Street, Chester, in the city of West 6th Street in the city of Chester.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of the following individuals to the position of Patrol Officer, Chester Police Department, Department of Public Affairs, effective June 13, 2022, with a 1-year probationary period, on a full-time basis, with all benefits applicable thereto, at the salary range provided in the annual appropriation ordinance. Number 1, Amanda Wilson, and number 2, Ryan Shomo. Further, said patrol officers are required to reside in the city of Chester for the first 5 years of employment and must submit proof of residency to the Human Resources Department within 3 months of this date of hire. Therefore, they may maintain their residence within 50 miles of City Hall.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of Beverly Harris to the position of Crossing Guard Clerk, Department of Public Affairs, effective June 4th, 2022, not to exceed 37.5 hours per week, with all benefits applicable at the salary range as provided in the annual appropriation ordinance. Further, said individual has successfully completed their 60-day probationary period.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of Benjamin Wilson to the position of Clerk Typist, Health Department, Department of Public Safety, effective June 4th, 2022, not to exceed 37.5 hours per week, with all benefits applicable at the salary as provided in the annual appropriation ordinance. Further, said individual has successfully completed their 60-day probationary period.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland?
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of Quan Wesley to the position of laborer, Department of Public Works, effective June 4th, 2022, for 40 hours per week, with all benefits applicable at the salary as provided in the annual appropriation ordinance. Further, said individual has successfully completed their 60-day probationary period.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland?
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of Edward Gosa to the position of laborer, Department of Public Works, effective June 4th, 2022, for 40 hours per week, with all benefits applicable at the salary as provided in the annual appropriation ordinance. Further, said individual has successfully completed their 60-day probationary period.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby ratify the appointment of the following individual to position of per diem laborer, Department of Public Works, beginning on the stated dates and ending August 31st, 2022, at the rate of $13.22 per hour, with no benefits, not to exceed 29 hours per week. Kalir Barrett, start date is June 9th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the proper city official to submit an application to the Delaware County Demolition Program Blighted Property Demolition Fund to obtain funds for the demolition of the following properties. Property address 2601 West 3rd Street, folio number 49-1100298-00, 1013 Upland Street, 490501325-00, 1018 Upland Street, 49-0400735-00, 1116 Powder Street, 49-0201, 432-00, 2703 Lehman Street, 49-1102-681-00, 2705 Lehman Street, 49-1102-682-00, 2707 Lehman Street, 49-1102-683-00, 1502 Perkins Street, 49-1102-938-00, 1504 Perkins Street, 49-1102-939-00, 1518 Perkins Street, 49-1102-946-00, 427 Rose Street, 49-02-01663-00, 429 Rose Street, 49-020-1664-00, 500 Curlin Street, 49-070-1355-00, 502 Curlin Street, 49-070-1356-00, 822 East 7th Street, 49-05-00059-00, and 0 Ivy Street, 49-08-00799-01. Further, it does hereby authorize the proper city officials to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city of Chester.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution that it does hereby approve the submission of an automated red light enforcement transportation enhancements ARLE grant to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, PennDOT, for the construction and installation of a new automated traffic signal at the intersection of PA State Route 291 and Jeffrey Street, replacing the existing flashing signal.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions?
Got a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, after listening to all those folio numbers, it's easy to kind of zone out, but this is really important. This is huge right here. This is a traffic light down on 291, right where the exit ramp is, where the trucks come off, oftentimes making a left turn, crossing 4 lanes. We've had numerous accidents down there. Not only does it control traffic at that corner, it also stops traffic that have a long straight run from literally Highland Avenue almost to here. So this is an exciting resolution.
And I'll second that. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think this mayor and council are taking the progressive steps to make sure that Route 291 becomes a safer corridor, whether you're crossing or in a vehicle and trying to come off of the highway or come off of the ramp. We have some other options that we're looking into to try to make it safer for those individuals that might be traveling across 291. So this is the first step to that. And I'm thankful that mayor and council was able to look into some options to make it safer again. So we have a few other things that we're looking into to enhance 291. It's an important right of way here in the city of Chester. We want to make sure that everybody can get down and view and take part and partake in our beautiful waterfront. So, but thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Men. Also want to give a shout out, a great thanks to our city engineer, Mike Galante, who has done an awful lot of work making sure that we get this done. Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does engage the services of ADP to provide payroll processing services for the City of Chester for an amount not to exceed $30,500. Further, it does hereby authorize the proper city official to execute the agreement for and on behalf of the City of Chester.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does approve and order payment of a series of bills and refunds as prepared by the Department of Accounts and Finance and is shown on expenditure approval list dated June 17, 2022, attached hereto and made a part hereof, subject to approval from the Department of Accounts and Finance.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
An ordinance, Bill number 4's first reading was June 8th, 2022. An ordinance of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, of the codified ordinances of the City of Chester, Pennsylvania, 1978, as supplemented and amended, adopting the 2018 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, regulating and governing the conditions and maintenance of all property, buildings, and structures, by providing the standards for supplied utilities and facilities and other physical things and conditions essential to ensure that structures are safe, sanitary, and fit for occupation and use, and the condemnation of buildings and structures unfit for human occupancy and use, and the demolition of such existing structures in the City of Chester, providing for the issuance of permits and collection of fees therefore, and the imposition of fines for violations thereof, and repealing all other ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict therewith.
Just want to make a small correction that the first reading was on June 8th, and this, if passed, will be the final reading, which is June 22nd. With that, so I move that we pass bill number 4 on its last and final reading.
I second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Roots?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Before we go into our presentations and our proclamation, we ask that if you are going to address council, that you would sign the sign-in sheet is at the podium.
Yeah.
So if you would sign in at the podium, your name and your address, so that we have that. Not yet. Not yet. Give them time. We'll give them time.
Yes, presentations.
So we'd ask that you would sign your name at this time, and after the presentations, we will collect the signatures and those persons who are going to be speaking. Is Mr. Williams here?
Yeah, he's here.
He's here? Oh, okay. Let's see with him. Come on up, champ. You have a proclamation?
You got your,
Amanda has. We hear that you've done great things and that you're the heavyweight champ. Councilman Morgan begs to differ.
You just gonna throw me to the wolves?
You didn't think I was gonna take that hit, did you? Got it.
What is this, two-time state champion? Okay, two-time state champion, Stephen Wap Williams. Whereas Stephen Wap Williams was born in Chester, Pennsylvania. Stephen was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer at the age of 19. Whereas he was in the fight of his life against Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a type of cancer that affects all the cells and blood in the body. Whereas after 8 months of chemotherapy, he was clear of all cancer cells, and on December 31st, And on December 31st, 2017, he rang the bell declaring victory over cancer. Whereas after ringing the bell, Stephen still had a challenge ahead of him. The chemotherapy had left him weak, and he had to find a way to strengthen his body. Whereas he reached out to Chester's own boxing champ, Frankie Lynn, and asked him if he could work with him in the gym to help regain his strength. Whereas Stephen felt that God had given him a second chance at life, knowing that he lost his dad to the streets and he was heading down the same road. Whereas he has won many fights since his fight against cancer and the streets. Some of his titles include 2021 Golden Glove, District Champion, Regional Champion, Nova State Champion, 2022 Elite Class Golden Gloves, and Open Class State Champion. Whereas now in 2022, Stephen is the best heavyweight in Pennsylvania. Two-time district regional and state heavyweight champion with a record of 12-1 and 5 knockouts. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Thaddeus Kirkland, and the council members of the city of Chester do hereby celebrate Stephen Wap Williams for winning his fights in health and life and for being a positive role model in the city of Chester. Presented this 22nd day of June, 2022.
One more thing, August 11th, he be leaving to go to Oklahoma for the national championship. Doing that, he's on his way to the United States in the boxing.
Thank you to the council for your testimony. Like I said, first shout out to Franklin. You back there live. Without Franklin, I wouldn't be here. I don't know where I'd be. My mom, first of all, died. There you go. My mom, that's Steve right there. She was at the wood company. Like I said, I lost my dad when I was about 9, going on 10. So it was hard for us. So it was like I had to become a man at a young age. And it was hard because I didn't learn how to be a man from me. So she had to teach me how to be a man. So besides that, it was just like I just had to fight, be strong, stay away from violence and stuff, which was hard when I was protected, got bullied and stuff like that. So, I wasn't trying to say I'm a big dog. I wasn't trying to, just trying to not fall into the street, but trying to do it at the same time. Going through the initial stages was crazy. I got down to stage 4. We got stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and all that. I just went straight to stage 4. So going from now, I just started from God, that night, anxiety, all things like that. After I got to that, I was really weak and everything. So all I knew was how can I get back? How can I get my strength back? I'm 6'4". I was only 150 pounds. So that's how I looked. So the first thing I did was reach out to Franklin, and he brought me down to the gym. He'll like when I say that, but he's going to deal with it for the rest of our lives. I don't know what you're talking about. So that guy I met with Dawood, actually, he's that we Chester. He won the national championship back in the 90s. So yeah, when I started down on the east side of 10th Street at Regent Peak Boxing Gym, I won my first fight there. After that, it was up from there. We moved down to War Ready Boxing Gym, 801 Market Street, and we just been going up ever since. We just been progressing. We had nobody to progress. We got all champions in the gym, all net champions in the gym. From them for the coming up, July 16th. You know what I mean? We fight July 23rd outside of our gym, and then from there I'm doing nationals August 11th. So I'm going there to win that and go to the Olympics. So once again, I appreciate the city of Chester, everything. Hopefully we got more to come.
That's right.
One second.
Mr. Williams, um, it's sometimes impossible. It's extremely hard, sometimes in a lot of cases impossible for a mom to take the place of a dad and make a man out of a man out of a boy. It takes an extraordinary woman to do that. My father transitioned when I was in 5th grade. 7 guys and 1 girl. And I know it takes an extraordinary woman to make a boy a man. Mom, you did good. And if you need somebody to go with you, to travel with you, first class, front row seats, give me a call. Congratulations on behalf of myself and council. Congratulations once again. Commish, we have in our presence also our very own DA, District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer, a great friend and partner here to the city of Chester.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'm here to commend Commissioner Gretzky and the Chester Police Department on an incredible investigation, which we called Operation Raw Deal. As many of you know, most police work is reactive in nature, but these Chester police officers came to our office back in the March timeframe. They had identified a group of individuals who were responsible for putting a lot of illegal narcotics onto the streets of Chester, killing people, literally, with the work that they were doing. We put together a team through our narcotics task force. We have a countywide task force of law enforcement officers from every municipality. We are much more powerful when we work together. We had a deputy district attorney working with them, and we put together a long-term investigation. I can't tell you how incredibly hard these officers worked, Mr. Mayor. Both every single day, making sure that they were tracking what was going on, and making sure that they were also doing their regular jobs here for the city of Chester. This investigation, which Commissioner is going to give you the details of, has led to the arrest of 13 individuals thus far, and I think just as importantly has removed 10 crime guns from the city of Chester streets. This is a tremendous operation, a tremendous kudos to the Chester Police Department, and shows once again the value of cooperation. When the county and the city work together, the public safety is for the good. So I just wanted to come down here, thank the Commissioner for his continued great work, thank the Chester PD, congratulate the 2 new officers we've got because they are joining a great brethren. We really appreciate the opportunity, Your Honor, just to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DA. Thank you.
Thank you, DA Jack Stolzheimer. So to piggyback off what the district attorney said, there was 13 individuals that were arrested. These individuals would pollute the West End side of the city with illegal narcotics. Francisco Rawls, Julius Rawls, Jamal Carey, Danielle Jones, Quad Walker, Shabri Campbell, Monica Frink, Lamisha Germany, Jamal Fleming, Darren Allen, Jamir Palmer, Aziz Nichols Powell, Maquita Laquanda Hackett. Through this investigation, we recovered 10 illegal firearms. Besides the 10 illegal firearms, we'll be seizing 8 vehicles, the narcotics breakdown, 646 grams of cocaine, 23.5 grams of crack, 1 gram of meth, 2 grams of marijuana. Total amount of U.S. currency seized, $11,038. Most important, through this investigation, currently right now in the city of Chester, we have 10 homicides. We have 8 cleared already, and number 9 is on Matthew Krause's desk, getting ready to get signed away. So I really have to commend Captain Matthew Goldschmidt, Officer Timothy Garin, and Officer John Benezich. And Officer Benezich said to me, he said, please, Commissioner, do not call us up to the front. But I would ask you 3 to come up to the front. Yo, you guys ain't going nowhere yet. Front and center. So I want to try to break this down very easy for everyone here. We would all agree Chester thrives off basketball. We got one of the best basketball teams in the state, correct? All right. So currently my police department is understaffed. So just follow me right here. I got my general manager right here, Mayor Kirkland. You got Coach Gretzky. I got my star point guard, Matthew Goldschmidt, running the rock. I got Timothy Guerin. He's a little shorter, so I'll make him my number 2. But listen, when things get pushed to shove, I love to give him the ball at the last minute for the shot. And John, if you're a little taller and make you my power forward, I'll make you my number 3. So on a basketball team, you need 5 players, and you need a bench. I currently got 3. If I get this hiring process correct, and I get some individuals from the city of Chester, homegrown individuals that take this test, we will shut the drug trade down in the city of Chester. I promise you that. So most importantly, if you guys would like to speak on the investigation, I'd really appreciate it.
The majority of the work was done by these guys. I came in at the end. So all the thanks and rounds of applause should more go to Tim Doc here than anybody else. They started back in 2020 or 2019 and we just finished up now. I've only been their supervisor since January, so everything's on them. A lot of community did work with us throughout the investigation. They were a big help. So thank you. Spread the word. Any tips, any help anybody wants to give us, we're more than happy to go out, look into things, and accept the help that's there. We can't do this kind of job or anything like that. This type of investigation, I should say, without you myself and with the acting council and the chief and the district attorney. Thank you for everything.
There you go.
And one last thing, please let all the misses know, I apologize, stop calling me. I mean, you guys put in hours after hours, and more importantly, all the overtime wasn't reimbursed and did not come out of the city's pocket.
I just want to say, what Commissioner said, so obviously we pay our employees on a biweekly basis, and every other week I'm calling Commissioner, like, Commissioner, what is going on? Why is the overtime hours so high? So I say, just relax. It's not, they're all gonna get reimbursed, and we got a special investigation that we're doing. So majority of the time I would shut up, but at one point it got too overbearing for me because I kept seeing the hours and everything like that. But they most certainly put in a lot of work on this type of investigation, and obviously the results have paid off. So thanks to the Chester Police Department for doing what you do.
Before we swear our new officers in, I'd like to call Mr. Eric Bain up here, who was a big help for myself with the gun buyback that we just did. We completed over 2 weeks, and we're going to read some numbers off to you. Eric?
Miss Amanda,
Thank you, Commissioner.
come on up here.
Good morning, members of council and Mayor Kirkland, respected members of the audience. We did conduct a gun buyback program a couple of weeks ago, the weekend before last, in conjunction with Bethany Baptist Church and the Bountiful Blessing Foundation, as well as the DA's office, our friends over at the Chester Police Force as well, and some help from some people here at City Hall, Miss Amanda, all right, and myself. We all work together with other people here in the room, and our objective was to hopefully, with all the news going on right now regarding gun violence and things of that nature, we were just trying to do a small little part to try to take some of the items off the street, if in fact people were willing to surrender those. We had some economic support from one of our primary supporters here in the city, not even the city, but one of our friends down the street at Monroe Energy, and some other friends here in the community as well that gave us the seed money to be able to execute this. We actually gave away, just to let you know what's going on, we had one donation of ammunition. We had a total of 34 firearms surrendered, and they consisted of revolvers, rifles, handguns, and shotguns, 34 items altogether. And we gave out roughly, to this point in time, $3,900 in gift cards. We do have some remaining funds left over from this our first round of this initiative, and we're hoping to be able to do this again, whether it be later on this summer or sometime around the Thanksgiving holiday. So with greater community support and some more financial backing from other people here in the community, we look forward to making this an ongoing effort and trying to do some good things for everybody here in this room. Thank you.
And Amanda, I got to give you big props because you quarterbacked this whole thing, but the Zoom meetings get this all on point. Without you, I think we hit some road bumps, but you definitely helped us out. I just want to say personally, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before we do the swearing in and the COVID update, we have a COVID update today, Ms. King. Before we do those, just wanted to remind the constituency that if you are speaking today, we ask that you would sign the sign-in sheet, your name and your address on the sign-in sheet. Once we take the sign-in sheet up, then we'll recognize you today. I'm sorry? We have a sign-in sheet right here on the podium. We ask that if you're going to speak today, that you would sign your name and your ad called individuals. Commish, we ready?
Officer Vanderbilt in front and center. Who's going to hold the Bible? Officer Ron Sherwood, front center.
Ryan Sherman, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Charter of the City of Chester. That I will discharge the duties of officer of police of the office of police officer of the
Congratulations.
So, first off, I'll speak in reference to Amanda. Amanda worked for Delaware County in the MD's office. Some good experience here, some negative experience having to come in for certain incidents. But I attended the graduation with District Attorney Jack Stoltimer to find out when you go 2018 as squad leader. She was a squad leader. She also won an award for EVOC, operating emergency vehicle under certain situations. And I learned firsthand from that because on her first day, I'm coming down 7th Street. I turned into the police department. That's this little blue car. I'm like, whoa, what's this car doing? And then she spins the wheel and lets go 50-year drift and pulls in my parking spot. I'm like, what? And so I get out. She's like, sorry for missing. I said, I know she's going to drive like that. But more importantly, for class 165, they had one of the highest female graduation rates in that class. Ryan, on the other hand, was attending Westchester University. When he attended Westchester University, he moved to Packard Stewart. He reached out to Packard Stewart. He's like, I hear a lot about the city of Chester. I'm dying to intern. I sat down with Ryan, and the first day, Victor and I spoke with Ryan. I said, what do you know about the city of Chester? And he was kind of put on pause. I said, I'm going to ask you this question in 6 months, which he agreed to. So Ryan was actually on a apply for PSP, Pennsylvania State Police, but turned it down after intern here to see what the city of Chester is about and the police department is about. He graduated with honors, and like I said, do we need officers? We do, and I'm so happy to bring you to a board. Thank you.
I think that Brian and I went through 6 months of the academy, 920 hours together, so we spent a lot of time. But I'm just really happy to be here. I really thank the commissioner and leader and state council for bringing us on and giving us a chance. And we're excited to get started, and we're excited to make Chester our home.
Commissioner said I interned here, off the place, and I got a career out of it. I'm excited to work with the people I've met during my internship, the people I'm going to meet, as well as the fellow officers. I'm excited, I'm grateful, wouldn't be here today, not my friends like Amanda, my father. Excited to do the work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get to work. We'll now have our COVID update. Ms. King?
The Pennsylvania Department of Health reports that there have been 7,137 positive cases reported in Chester since the start of the pandemic. The CDC reported that Delaware County is currently experiencing a low level of COVID-19 transmissions. Residents should continue taking precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19, especially individuals who are at high risk for severe illness and those with young children in their households who are not eligible for COVID-19 vaccinations. The Delaware County Health Department is encouraging the public to follow the CDC's recommendations for universal masking indoors regardless of vaccination status. They also recommend that residents stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccinations and boosters and get tested if they have any symptoms. After a slight surge in May, Chester's cases have begun to calm down. There have been 83 positive cases reported in June so far. This is compared to 157 cases reported in May, 54 cases reported in April, and 21 cases reported in March. Research experts believe that the number of positive cases is undercounted given the common use of at-home tests. COVID-19 vaccinations and boosters are available on July 18th, August 1st, August 15th, and August 29th from 11 to 5 at the Delaware County Health Center located at 151 West 5th Street. They offer walk-ins, but to schedule an appointment, you can call 484-276-2100. Everest Urgent Care's hours for operation are Monday to Friday, 9 to 6:30, and Saturday, 9 to 5:30. They offer walk-in COVID PCR testing every day and walk-in vaccines and booster shots on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 6:30. If you need to schedule an appointment for the vaccine, you can call 484-480-4700. The Chester City Health Department will be giving away free COVID-19 test kits today from 11 to 1 in the lobby downstairs. Additionally, on Thursday, June 30th, the Chester City Health Department, Save Your Souls, and Chester Environmental Partnership will be hosting a diabetes luncheon from 11 to 1:30 in the Chester City Hall Community Room. There will also be a vaccine and booster shot clinic in the computer room. Only a certain number of spaces are available for the luncheon, so it will be first come, first serve. Walk-ins are available as long as there are spaces, but you can also call 610-447-7700, extension 7955 to register for the event. If anyone has any questions about the diabetes luncheon, Ms. Carter is downstairs in the lobby and can answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King. And we hope that folks would please take advantage of the free COVID tests that are made available downstairs in the lobby today. And once again, we encourage everyone to get tested so that we can be safe and be healthy. At least. Thank you. Thank you again, Ms. King. Ms. Smith, we're asking that you would keep your comments to 3 minutes. We have a number of persons here today and greatly appreciate it.
Good morning. Yep, still morning.
Morning.
I just have a question, a follow-up question that I asked, I guess, last month. I was reading an article and it was dated in the Daily Times on February the 4th. And Councilman Roots, you indicated that in this article that within the next month, I will assess and document each park's needs and determine the urgency and cost to make the park safe and functionable. I'm just asking today, is that document available for public view?
I can give you a copy, sure.
Okay, thank you. And second question, if you go back and, well, you can confer with your receiver, a letter was sent about the environmental issues within this building to make you aware of, several people in this building had cancer, and the air quality in this building is not up to par. So can you look into that to make sure that the ventilation is clean, that people are not breathing in the indoor toxins that could further, cause additional health issues? And you can get that letter from your receiver that was written in response to that concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Ms. Littleton?
Hi, good morning.
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 I just had a comment first, and I want to ask two questions, follow-up questions. The first comment is, I've witnessed the exciting ceremony of installing officers for about 4 times here in City Council, which is great. I'm glad that that whole process is happening to get more officers on the streets. I was wondering if is there something in place already, and if not, if we can have this where I don't know if they're working today, but as residents who they will be serving and protecting, to be able to, just be able to greet them, say hello to them, get to know who they are, as the officers, fine officers that will service in our city. I don't know if there's something like that. I know we're a small enough city that'll help us to start building up that rapport, getting that community relations with the officers that are serving and protecting here in Chester City. So just a thought, I don't know if it is, and maybe I can get the information just to go over to be able to meet them. And if not, even if it's just something that we can do shortly right after they're installed, just to say hello as residents of Chester City, introduce ourselves, and get to know who they are. So that's the comment. Not this Friday. Well, what time? It depends. I can contact you to see because I know Fridays, but yes. Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Okay. And I was looking actually to give this follow-up question to Councilwoman West, who's not here, but I'll still present it. Just trying to do a follow-up to see if there's any updates in the strategic plan about the illegal dumping that is continuing to take place here in Chester City. I've been back to several of the spots that has been cleaned up. Is there a strategic plan or cameras? I heard that there were going to be cameras installed and that process. Again, as a concerned resident for the image of our city, many more like myself, we're really concerned and serious about trying to get these illegal dumping sites up. And also some of the housing authority units, just to have some accountability on the overflow of trash and garbage that is consistently overflowing there in that particular, during, the garbage services there. So, but that illegal dumping is really happening. I don't have the street names offhand, but some of the same spots where the tires were up off of 22nd Street behind the Dollar Magic there, right over off of 7th Street by the courts. The illegal dumping is still going on, and it's really a sore eye to the community. Lastly, just wanted to find out about the fire, the house that caught on fire next to mine. My main concern really, I'm hoping that there is going to be, I realize that the demolition was ceased because of the owner who was trying to, restore the property. My only concern is that the property is still openly exposed to the community, and people are driving down 9th Street, turning 360 to look at that house where they're still driving. And I personally had to holler out to a few people to, watch out, because that's a distraction as people are coming down 9th Street. And so I'm wondering, as 30 days after that fire, if we can talk to the owner about at least getting that front part covered up. It's still exposed and potentially open for someone else to come in and start another vicious fire. So I would like to have some kind of update on that to see what the city is doing with that property at 332 West 9th Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton.
The engineer and I do have an update on the property at the appropriate time.
Okay. As far as the illegal dumping, we have been putting up some cameras in some areas. We hope to put cameras up in some other areas as well. This has been an ongoing problem in the city. We clean it up, they dump it up once again. So we are looking at putting cameras in, throughout the city. We've started that process already. Hopefully we'll have the funding in place so that we can complete the entire project. As far as the housing authority units, that's something that we have to take up with the housing authority executive director. That's a federal program. So we have to speak with that executive officer. Mr. Galante?
Yes, if you don't mind, I could give a little more, elaborate a little bit more on the cameras.
Sure.
So we do have the 4 illegal dumping cameras that are going to be portable. We're in the final stages of working with the police department to get them, programmed so that we can start putting them at different locations throughout the city. So that should be happening soon. That should, that the intent of that is to put them in different locations, catch people who are illegal dumping, and try to, prosecute and let the police do their job. There's also another program. I see the district attorneys here. we're working with their office. They have a program now. They received a certain amount of money to clean up some illegal dump sites. So we're working with CETA Planning, Peter Riker from Planning. We're all working together with their office, representative from their office, to try to help clean up some of these sites and get additional lighting at those locations. Regarding the property at 332 West 9th Street, we gave the property owner a deadline of last night to provide plans. They dropped off plans this morning. They're with L&I, and I have a copy in my office. After this meeting, we're gonna review them. If they're adequate, the owner will have to start work within 24 hours. I had a conversation with them today. Failure to start would, at some point, we're going to initiate demolition. So if they don't start the work, we will initiate demolition. We've taken all required steps to start the demolition, disconnected utilities, and the contractor's on standby. So we are going to review today, and then at that point, I'll have a further update in the next hour or so.
Well, help us out a little. What work are we asking them to do on
We're
the
asking,
property?
so the letter that we sent to the property owner it consists of two phases. The first phase would be to completely secure the property, frame up that top third story, and completely frame the roof and close in the property. The next phase would be to provide proper financial paperwork, that they have the means to actually rehab the entire property to bring it up to code. And after they get done the initial phase where they do the shoring up and making it safe, as we say, then we'll develop a time frame with them where they have to meet to get the property into compliance in a livable condition, habitable condition. So that is still to be decided. We want to get the first phase, the make safe phase, completed for the residents, of course.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Mr. Schuster, you have anything to add? That's it. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Galante. Ms. Evans.
Hello and greetings, everyone. My name is Tawana Evans. I live at 209 Sunnyside Avenue. I'm coming to you today because I have some concerns in regards to the street that I currently live on. So Sunnyside Avenue is a two-way street, and it is a very, very small street. I am asking that that street potentially be a one-way street, or we put some speed bumps on that street. I have been a resident of 209 Sunnyside Avenue for 19 years. Over that time frame, my car being parked has been totaled 3 times and hit 5 times in front of my home. Outside of myself, all of my neighbors have been replacing rear view windows. Their cars have been hit by people just fleeing the scene. And this has been happening over a substantial period of time. There's also a street called Rose Lane. It looks like an alleyway. I've also seen numerous car accidents in between the intersection of Rose Lane and Sunnyside Avenue going towards the park. In addition to that, there are a number of abandoned cars on Sunnyside Avenue that I am asking to be removed as soon as possible. I've called many times, but the cars have remained there over the pandemic, and they're still present on the block. Again, just the other day during graduation, there was another accident in front of the home. Another homeowner's car was then totaled while it was parked, and then right in front of the police, a person ran up on a curb and hit the pole. So this street is very dangerous to me. A lot of individuals who own their homes there, our cars have been just hit numerous times, and I'm just asking that something be done, please. Thank you.
The abandoned cars, they're on Sunnyside Avenue.
They are on Sunnyside Avenue. They are cars that belong to residents that live there, but they asked me to come today because they have been requesting that these cars be removed as well. And so I just came on their behalf as well. But there are several cars on Sunnyside Avenue. I live at 209. My neighbors on both sides have abandoned cars in front of their homes that they would like to be removed.
Our commissioner and our major both are here today. So they'll make sure that we.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Also, Mr. Galante, could you check that or do some research on that? Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Ms. Brown. Mhm.
Good morning to all, Mayor Kirkland
Morning.
and
Morning.
council. I don't have questions. I'm just going to kind of read fast, so I need everyone to listen to what I'm saying. Coming to the council meetings, I just want you all to know, you see me wearing my shirt, that I am a proud member of the organization named Circle. We are not violent of nature, but we are upset and angry over the cares and concerns for environmental justice for the residents of the city of Chester. Our governing electors in the county and city have failed in protecting us by mockery and other such things. We understand our city was labeled industrial many years due to factory industry, label, business, especially along her waterfront. But more so, Chester is residential. She holds communities of citizens who breathe life, laugh, cry, fall in love, give new birth, educate, bury the dead. This small city is a village of many kings and queens, noble persons, princes and princes. Yet she suffers systematic racism by the greed of those looking for greater self-wealth. I'm gonna skip something. Circle and myself believe in Sam Cooke's song, "Change is Gonna Come." Like him, I was born by the river, the Delaware River, block up from it. And Will Reagan's song, "Break Every Chain," because Circle, which means Chester residents concerned for quality living, will rise up and claim environmental justice for, in its battle. In the power, in the name of Jesus. And my daily indulgence to all is what a wonderful city of Chester I live in, and may each of you present live the spirit of peacefulness within your souls. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you. Ms. Kasim?
Good morning, Mayor. Do you hear me? Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
I said good morning, Ms.
I
Kasim.
heard all of them over here too, but I didn't hear you. So I have some comments and also a follow-up. I attended a Delaware County Council meeting. Recently. I know our councilwoman was present. But I pretty much just kind of wanted to follow up regarding that and make some requests. So I know Silvercare, if anyone doesn't know or may know, if they have already been in the talks, is looking to expand and pretty much open up more drug and alcohol recovery and also senior affordable living. And I am very much appreciative of it. But I do ask that when this proposal is brought to council and mayor, if we can make sure that we have the community input as well on that, especially because they plan on buying more property, even including on 10th Street. And I also ask and request that 50% of the employees that they're saying that would create an additional 340 jobs will be Chester City residents, as we do have many, especially women here in this community that are CNAs and also in the healthcare field. That is our majority population of careers here. So I ask if that can be open to the city of Chester when that proposal is brought up, and also if you can include the community input on that expansion as well. Another organization that is looking towards coming to this community is Liberty Resources. And I know that they're focusing on at least obtaining 6 units that would house those that are disabled or veterans. And if council and mayor can also make sure that there is a strategic plan, as I know that they are still in the works right now. But if someone also from the city of Chester can be a part of that development team, because I know that they are communicating with Chester Housing Authority. And from our own experience, Chester Housing Authority goes through their own process in the way that they would rather do things. And I would appreciate it if we cannot continue to have it the same way. So if we're going to have people come in and house our residents, especially those that are disabled or may not be able to speak up for themselves, we want to make sure that city and council, council and mayor is speaking up for those, as we already have had this same process happen. My second question is, I would like to have a follow-up regarding, this is specifically to you, Mayor, because I asked you this last time. Is there an update where you have called down to the owners or even management of Stinson, Palmer, Gateway, and Edgemont? I know Councilwoman West stated she was going to call Chatham Estates, but I also asked respectfully if they can be reached out regarding the broken elevators and the unsafety of the residents and the needles and things that are going on there as well.
To that question, both the Councilwoman Williams and our inspectors have all gone over to those residential areas, to those residents. They've inspected it. They've talked to the management, and they're continuing.
There not too long ago, and it's still, but you said it's still. Now, he's speaking on Stinson, Palmer, Gateway, and Edgemont regarding the safety.
My
Okay, thank you for that. We'll still follow up. And also, Councilman Morgan, the next meeting, which is today, you'll have that list.
Yes, we don't make our expenditure lists are not public. As far as the vendors that we actually expenses that we have to pay out this year, whether it's insurance, utilities, vendor payments for repairs, and those types of things. So yeah, no, it's not public for the residents.
Public.
No, it is. That's not public. No.
Is there a way that that's something that we can fix?
Or budget that we approve for the 2022 year is what is our public document that approves.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kazim.
Oh, well,
Certain information is proprietary.
one more minute. 20 seconds. Lifeguards, Mr. Roots, Councilman Roots. Any updates? Have they already started? There. So do we have our update on that? Have they already started? Did you follow up to make sure they were certified and trained as well?
We'll answer that question. I'll have my deputy answer that before you go.
I live at 1030 Potter Street, Chester, Pennsylvania. I just got a couple of renter assistance program, and it's still going on. And I'd like to let the public know. And also, I'd like to let people know that there is money for people that want to move into a place. A lot of people, I did attend that meeting that they had at the county council chambers the Monday evening. And there is $100 million of ARPA funds available. And the county before, I guess, December 2024, and has to be spent by, I guess, December. Because I've seen a lot of people that weren't from, she was suggesting that if these companies are permitted to get some of this money and some people may not know about, that I would like to bring to the attention, and it's like a community benefit program for the county. And they've given her 407 the city of Chester be made aware of this money. And I would like to, if possible, like have help organizing their business or the program or their 501c3 or their nonprofit, so that thing. I just keep hearing something about this LG thing. I don't know if is there something on the city website about it or something, or maybe somebody could explain me what.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. It has something to do with liquid gas. Um, it's a concept that has been floating around throughout the United States, and matter of fact, throughout the world.
Good morning. Celine Mayfield. Oh, I can speak. Hallelujah. Good. It's not a concept. They are actively working, and we are now aware of how active they've been for the last either 4 or 5 years. And I know it's very preliminary, but I am going to ask whether or not you are for or against or are still on the fence about this thing would be the largest in Pennsylvania and possibly on the East Coast. The average term facilities. This proposal that they are working the site down at Front and Lloyd is gas per day. That's a whole lot. Searching it, we are talking to people in Louisiana who actually lives with these things. Thing, and have that proposal on hold. And that would just be a terminal. What Penn is proposing is actually and the propensity for an explosion is greater. And we are not, as Chester residents concerned for quality living, willing to construction after the creation of jobs will wind up being around 100 jobs. Certified in. So to reporters, likely for the city of Chester. You must also counter that decision. Just look at it, even just looking at that independently. We're not talking about the accumulation of pollutants that we're already getting hit with. Community everywhere fights these things tooth and nail. Proposal that wants to come to our city. I want the company where every community is fighting to get their business. Proposal, or have you already formed an opinion?
I don't know if I can find out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can bring it to, I bring it, everything that I find out for the city, I bring it here to the city. Okay, so I'll find out what it is.
What's your question?
My question is, have you formed an opinion?
No.
Yes or no?
No, I
Do
haven't.
you need more information? Do you need more education? Fine, thank you.
Time.
Well, he said he didn't understand it. That's why I was giving
No, I didn't
him
understand your
credit.
question. I didn't know what your question was. So
Okay.
I have your question now. I have not formed. This is really my first time hearing it again, honestly. So now I have to look back into something like this. And if you have information that you want to provide me, most certainly, more information for me to study and look into it.
Mr. Root?
I will say that the people who are bringing or looking to bring this LNG project to Chester has not presented to us on council as council people. As far as the proposal is concerned, the only introduction I've had to it is a very high level view. I do not have an opinion. One way or another based on the information that I've received. Philadelphia Gas Works, so I am aware of what it is, what it does. I will absolutely welcome the information that you got. So that will help form an opinion.
Okay.
As for myself, Ms. Mayfield, I have met with Mr. James Frank that they have provided me with concerning the construction, the property that they would like to purchase, the transportation of the liquid fuels. Employment opportunities. I've weighed the impact it would have upon our financial status here in the city of Chester. Have I made a final decision? No, I have not, because I've talked to the property owner. The property owner sell that property or has indicated he is not going to sell the property to safe possible way for our community to generate revenue, for our persons here in the city, to have opportunities for employment. And I'm gonna continue to do that. We try to, excuse me? We try our best to get our residents all types of employment opportunities here. You see our commissioner today inviting 2 new police officers. Working in our parks and our recreational areas. We want our people employed. When our people are employed, Chester does better. Chester moves forward. So there are going to be a myriad of opportunities. A lot of folks want and healthy and allow us to be, allow our folks to be gainfully employed that we can possibly look at.
Okay. Well, Mayor, I doubt if there's anybody in Chester
Ms. Mayfield.
that is anti-capitalism.
Ms. Mayfield.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this, Mayor.
Ms. Mayfield.
I hope
That was nice.
that whatever decisions you make, that it is not influenced by the political campaign contributions that Penn LNG has already given you. Okay?
There won't be, hold up, Miss Mayfield, whatever political contributions I get, they're all legal. And guess what else I do? Guess what else I do? I pay my taxes. That struggle,